Hello, welcome to Quackalope. Thank you for being here. Today we are talking about the biggest disappointments of the year.
Sad face.
These are the games or the things that happened across 2022 that just kind of broke my heart a little. It's not all negative.
It's not all negative.
It's not all negative. Some of it is really sad. Just absolutely crushing. And some of it is just the games were an absolute letdown.
Yeah, not as good as they should have been.
They didn't do what I hoped, what they promised me they would, and so they're now on the naughty list.
Naughty list, getting cold.
We're doing a ton of list videos over here on Quackalope. We have best games of the year.
Yep.
We have best Kickstarters.
Yep.
So the things that we're the most excited about coming in, hopefully in the next year or two. Mm-hmm. Shira's doing a 10 games that need to arrive already, because there's a few that have missed their delivery window, and she's going to sit down and just say, hey, what the fuck? You need to go ahead and arrive.
Yeah.
And we of course have went through, and we've also done 5 games we're going to play, 5 games we're never going to play,
yep.
And our most disappointed, which is what you're watching. All right, Wes, you don't know what's on my list.
I don't know what's on your list.
And you've only got a few.
I have a few that if you don't talk about, then I will add in.
All right. I'm going to start with something that is a little bit more of a positive note.
Okay.
So for the lazy viewers...
they'll be like, "Oh, that wasn't that bad."
So for the lazy viewers that only watch like 2 minutes in, and then they're like, "Man, I've had enough of these guys."
Okay.
They're only going to get hit not with the real things we're complaining about,
just the sort of ishy,
but with the fact that Kingdoms Come Deliverance.
That we're starting with that one?
We're starting with that one.
That's the worst one of them all.
It is. It sucks.
It's by far the worst one of them all.
It's crushing.
It is crushing.
Tell them what happened.
So, this absolutely beautiful game, probably the best implementation of an app-driven game where you still have to pay attention to the board and the app just helps.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It canceled. It didn't make enough money. And I am so sad about it because I really believe...
Not only did it not make enough money, it had something like 14 or 17,000 followers on. And so for those of you that are like, they should have known they weren't going to make enough money.
Yeah, no,
I'm going to call a little bit of a flag on that because over on GameFound, they had more followers on their campaign than I had seen on any campaign up to that point. And yeah, there could have been things that could have been done better. The price tag was high because they were doing custom voiceover work for every single scenario.
It was amazing.
It depended on an app. I get that. That's a hard sell for a lot of people. But I'm going to tell you flat out right now. One, you're wrong.
You are.
You're wrong. And the 17,000 people that were watching that campaign that didn't back it,
shame on you.
You broke my heart this year.
And broke the entire company. They were like, no, we just can't do it. And then they folded and said, no thanks.
Yeah.
And then they left.
I am still hopeful that with us yelling about this, saying it's a travesty, saying it should not have happened.
Please.
I am still hoping that a company out there, I mean, I can think of a lot.
I can think of a lot as well.
Steamforged Games.
Oh, yeah.
Awaken Realms.
Lucky Duck.
Simon. Lucky Duck. Hey, let's have a conversation about how we actually bring this thing to life.
Because it was so
We played through the prototype scenario 3 times?
3 times, and every single time it was different.
Had a joy.
It was amazing.
Yeah, so Kingdoms Come Deliverance, and it introduced me to the video game.
Yeah.
And now I love the video game as well. Who doesn't want to play as if you live in 15th century Bohemia, and that's it?
Yeah.
Who doesn't want that?
It's amazing.
You know, the funny thing is, the video game was kind of a dark horse as well. Yeah. It was one of those things where funded and raised money on Kickstarter, which is also another thing. Don't do GameFound. Fund it on Kickstarter. And get the actual company who owns the IP to share it with their Kickstarter audience, because they didn't even do that.
Yeah.
They didn't advertise it. Like, I'm sitting here and I'm like screaming about this because we're the loudest people that are talking about it.
Absolutely.
So it's one of those things where the video game people were like, I don't know that I want to play
a board game.
No. The video game was like a dark horse. When it first came out, people were like, I don't know that I want to play
some random citizen who's got like a
blacksmith's son who has to muck the stables.
Yeah.
And then people got it and they went,
oh, wow, yeah.
No.
Yeah, I actually want to play this.
Something in my soul doesn't need dragons.
Yeah, you don't have any special powers. You're not anything special. You're a normal person.
It was really good.
Oh, it was so good.
It was really good.
So good.
All right, moving off of Kingdoms Come.
How do you get worse than that?
Well, it's not necessarily worse then. I just wanted to start. I wanted to start there.
You wanted to make me high right at the very beginning.
I wanted to make you angry right away. Okay. Let's get to something that actually let me down.
Okay.
Really, genuinely disappointed the heck out of me.
Okay.
And I was primed to like it, because I own the deluxeified copy of this game. I have a wooden insert. I've upgraded the coins. And actually, this expansion has kind of put me at a state where I don't really... I would be okay not having the game anymore in a weird way.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
Viticulture World.
It's just because you broke it.
Yes.
It's because you broke the game.
And
you're like,
people have came back to the comments of that video and been like, hey, I tried this. It seemed to work for me, too.
Okay, for those of you who don't know,
like
Jesse has this strategy where if you can play Viticulture World, which is all about making wine and stuff, right? Raising grape farms and stuff. If you just sell the farm. That's all you have to do. Just sell the farm.
You get coins early on, and because it's a time-based system instead of a you drive endgame type of system like the original game, you get coins early on, which allows you to buy tiles and upgrades, which allow you to have more actions on the board. Those actions typically lead to you being able to generate the resources that you need to have your heart and your meter and your wealth be where it needs to be to actually win the scenario. I played multiple times. I recorded multiple scenarios. I tested this methodology out. And yeah, I get it. There's like Jamie went on my video commenting saying like, hey, you know, there are some vineyards out there that don't have any grapes. They don't have any land. They just create wine. And I'm like, yeah, but that's not
how the system actually
That's not when you think about being a winemaker.
Right.
You don't think about buying grapes from your supermarket and mashing them in your basement and then selling them to your neighbor.
True.
You think about growing beautiful vines. And you also give me the lore of like having a ma and pa. And if your game, the easiest way to win your game is just selling the farm, it's really funny. But it does make me just a debtor's son. That's it.
All right, that's fair.
All right, number 3. I'm trying to think about how I want to go through these, because some of these are not actually negative, but in a way they are still. Darkest Dungeon.
Ooh.
Darkest Dungeon.
Ooh. Which part of Darkest Dungeon are we talking about?
There's a few parts of Darkest Dungeon. So, first off, yeah, there's some, I don't know what, my only assumption with what's happened with Mythic Games, who I care about. I've really enjoyed working with their team over the years.
People.
But my only assumption, because it's been radio silence in terms of my communication lines with them, most of the people that I knew over there actually
are not there anymore.
Yep. My understanding is one of two things. First off, they're in a horrible spot. They took on so much additional cost to ship a game the size of Darkest Dungeon,
which is
they had
stupid heavy.
Delays on the shipping, and it just broke the company in a weird way. They are trying desperately to get the cash to actually deliver everything. And the audience has very little sympathy for that process, because they're big enough that they really shouldn't be in this position. And I'll admit that. I do have to acknowledge them selling IPs that they own to focus on the games that they still have to deliver is the right move for them to have made.
Agreed.
That is a hard move to make. And so for anyone who's still raging a storm and still upset about this, like, at least take a second to realize and think about like what you'd have to do yourself to sacrifice like that. They sold off probably over half of their company worth of IPs so that they can continue creating and trying to deliver you the titles they've promised to deliver you. I think that's admirable. At the same time, why is Darkest Dungeon 50% off?
Why are you advertising like every fifth thing I see that's an ad on Facebook is Darkest Dungeon 50% off? I
hope it gets them the cash. Whoa. I hope it gets them the cash to deliver, but it's a bad...
That's bad. That's a bad look.
It's a bad look.
It's a bad look.
And on top of that,
because there's also people who chose not to pay the extra money for the shipping because that's what they asked for. They said, help us cover the cost of shipping. You pay something, we'll pay the other. And people were like, no, I already paid you shipping. I shouldn't have to do that again. Now, whether or not that's the right choice for the person, I'm not going to answer that. But there are people who paid for the entire Kickstarter pledge and shipping, which was what was originally agreed upon, who are now never going to get their game because they chose not to pay for that extra shipping.
I don't actually know what the number of that is.
Well, there's at least about 15 people who are real mad about it, so I'm assuming that there's at least 15.
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't know. I don't know if that's a loud minority of people.
It very well could be. Could be a squeaky wheel.
If it's a large group of the community. I lean towards the point that those are loud, vitriolic people.
Probably.
Not that they are not that they are wrong for
loud.
for their indignance.
Yes, I agree.
However, I do think at a certain point you just have to look at it and say, no, this is the situation, so how are we going to move forward with grace?
Yeah.
But the sell is rough. And then just finalizing it, I sent you home with Darkest Dungeon.
Oh.
I told you it's an ambitious game.
That's not even close to what it is.
Okay.
That's not even close to what it is. I have pulled out all the pieces and multiple times tried to set them up and go through that. And there are games that I've played that have amazingly complex rule books and whatnot. This is it's a rulebook complexity issue. It is a constant upkeep going through all the different pieces issue.
Yeah.
It literally takes the game from what I understand the video game and then translates it almost exactly into a board game.
I think,
and if you can imagine the amount of upkeep that's done with a computer, you are now doing that by yourself.
I think video game fans who want that experience are really going to like it. And it's what I've said from the very beginning of our initial coverage.
For sure.
I warned people away from how heavy this game is.
Oh.
While at the same time telling you that it was very cool and did Darkest Dungeon well in a certain particular way. But I am also having it here as a disappointment because with everything that's happening around the company and the game, I don't see us covering it too much.
Definitely not.
Because you're inviting a lot of attention.
Yep.
And we try to keep a pretty nice community here.
Yeah.
I also don't think we have the time to sit down and play it, and I would really like to play it.
I would too. It looks super cool, but I feel like there's just so much to get.
I want to do a comparison between it and the video game, and I just don't. I've played the video game enough. I just have not played the board game enough. All right, moving on to I guess number 4. One of these on here. I don't know that this deserves to be on the list, but
I'm going to say it anyway.
But it has to be. Weather Machine.
Oh, okay.
I own every single Viticulture World Eagle Griffin game. They're all downstairs. They're part of the collection.
This is personal opinion, okay? Personal opinion. Don't take it as any nick or ding on the game in any way, shape, or form.
I think the game's amazing.
I think there's moments and pieces in this game that are incredible. However, I believe that the way the system is set up does not make sense. It doesn't make logical sense, okay?
I don't know
the concept of the weather machine is that there's this guy, he created this weather machine. It went a little nuts and it's doing all this crazy stuff. So the government is designed to bring in their own weather machine to fix the other weather machine's issues.
Yeah.
So why on earth wouldn't you stop the other weather machine? That's the whole point of it, right?
That one's got to run.
That one's just got to keep running. But there's times where the weather machine does stop because weird things are happening. So isn't the whole point of the machine from the government just stop that machine? Don't create more stuff over here to take that weather machine down. Then you're also printing reports. Why are you printing reports? Who cares about a report? Just stop the stupid machine.
So your problem is the lore?
My problem is that the mechanics of the game do not match the story of the game.
Yeah.
So, and it's also unnecessarily complex because the story doesn't actually match.
I don't know if I entirely agree with West on that when it comes to a thematic trope, but I have to say the reason why Weather Machine is here is because while I have owned and played almost every single Viticulture World game, Weather Machine included, Weather Machine's the first one that probably won't ever add into my collection because it's the first one that I have to admit to myself is too heavy for me. It's not that I cannot sit down and play it, it's beyond my ability to want to learn, to table, to teach, to do the journey of it. There's just so many little Euro-based nodules that are moving. Whereas you get back to some of the classics, and it's a very simple A-B binary choice with a very deep complexity.
Yes, exactly.
This one is not that. This one has 7,800 choices.
But why is that? If you look at Lisboa and things like that, you're grabbing pieces, you're adding stuff, you're building things, and all of it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful circular motion.
You're saying that there's a thematic problem.
Because of the thematic problem, it makes the game harder to play.
Maybe. I'd have to evaluate that. But yeah, that's sitting here. Okay, let's...
You've got my blood boiling at this point on all of these so far.
I'm really... Let's circle around to... this will be fun. Ark Nova. One of the biggest disappointments of the year.
And it was the biggest disappointment of the year. And here,
do you want to tell them why?
Yeah, I'm 100% going to tell them why. We played this game. Yeah. It was awesome.
I loved the game.
We had so much fun. Yeah, it was great. Incredible.
I had a blast.
I was like, wow, this absolutely is... people compare it to Terraforming Mars, but it has nothing like Terraforming Mars.
It really chugged along.
I can feel the system. There's no issues with resource getting not enough of it. Like, you're not resource starved in any way. You could really build stuff out. It's amazing. What a great game.
It's a lot of fun.
That's because we played it wrong, apparently. We missed like 2 or 3 of the major rules that really make the game suck.
It was a resource engine rule.
Yeah.
We gave ourselves...
And we started in the wrong place where we were building, which created all kinds of other sub-issues, but whatever.
Basically, we opened up a healthier economy than we should have.
Yeah, and it was awesome.
Instead of playing in the Great Depression, we played in like the early 2000s America.
Yeah, like, right before the housing crisis started.
Yeah, like everyone's able to buy a house. You just print it, right?
Yeah.
And so, because of that, Ark Nova is on my biggest disappointments list.
Yeah.
Because there was a version of the game I really enjoyed.
It was amazing.
And it's not the version of the game that technically exists. The version of the game that exists is really tight. And I understand why it is beloved.
Sure.
But...
by all means, enjoy that game.
But I do want more resources.
If you want to actually play the right version of the game that makes the game stupid amounts of fun, go watch our video on it, because you can see the house rule we put in place. It's pretty obvious.
It's based off of the middle. It's based off the middle track. Like,
it just allows you to pretty much take whatever you want.
Continue.
Yeah.
Whereas,
and it was amazing.
If you play it how it's supposed to be, you have like one card to pick from.
Yeah, that's stupid.
It was very frustrating.
Yeah,
it was very frustrating. Okay, let's keep going. I'm going to boil your blood in a different way.
Oh, fantastic.
Another giant disappointment for me this year, because I wanted to like this game.
Okay.
And at the same time, as I was purchasing this game, I knew I would not like this game. And I also knew that Shira would love this game. And that turned out to be true. Dice Thrones.
Specifically Marvel Dice Thrones?
Marvel Dice Thrones.
Yeah.
No, I owned all of the other Dice Thrones, and I had just given it away. I gave it away to Sean, who used to be...
Because you just don't like it.
I just didn't... I want to like it so much, and I didn't, and so I just gave that one away. And then I want to like this one so much, and Shira loves it, and you enjoyed it.
Oh, it was a great game.
And I'm glad you two are going to be able to play it together, because I just cannot stand this game.
I don't understand why you don't like it.
I like Yahtzee.
And it is Yahtzee.
No. It's too random. It doesn't feel very controlled. It's like, hey, let's sit down and just roll dice for 30 minutes. And it's so ambient and blah.
It's interesting you say that, because there's a game up there that I found at PAX that I absolutely thought was entertaining, which is a version of Marvel Dice Throne in a way. Catharsis sitting right up there is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And it's nothing but dice. With different powers and abilities.
But it's more advanced powers and abilities.
That's true.
And a more spirited, focused narrative.
Very true. There's a lot of story involved in that.
I theoretically get why people love Dice Throne.
Because it's fast and fun and just throw stuff out there.
I just don't. I don't at all.
Because there's literally no story. I think that's what it is. There's no story to it whatsoever.
I can't stand it. I can't. I do not want to play it.
For the record, gonna throw a little bit of a downer in here, because my 2022, not the greatest. My dad died, and
is that on your list of big disappointments?
Big disappointments of 2022. But the day that my dad died, I was actually here filming, and we stopped filming stuff and whatever, and then I came down and I said, you know what, I need to play a game, because it's what makes me feel better in life. But then I also said to myself, you know what? This is an opportunity for us to actually play a game for fun, because you were super nice and you said, well, I'll play whatever you want. And I said, great. But then I had the quandary of going, what do I actually play? Because that game will be ruined forever. Because it's a game that, it's the first game I played after my dad died, and it'll always be in my head, right? So then I thought about it, and there were multiple games that I wanted to play, but then I said, you know what? I'm just going to play something that I don't know anything about, so I won't have any expectations, and I'll just get it out of the way. And Jesse was like, well, let's play Marvel Dice Throne, so you can hate it with me, so that way Shira's the only one in the house that likes it, and she'll never play it again. That's literally what he said.
Yeah.
And I liked it. I thought it was really fun.
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe that's the reason why I don't mind it, because I had zero hope that it was going to be good.
You were going into the movie theater expecting it to be terrible.
And it was like, it's not bad.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, I wanted to like it. I bought it knowing I wouldn't like it, though.
It is a beautiful game to unbox, though, with all the different pieces. It's just so simple. Start up, quick, go, do, done.
Let's flip the script on that. A game that's a disappointment because instead of I not liking it and Shira loving it, Shira doesn't like it, and I would really like to keep it in the collection.
Oh, okay, what is this?
Wonderlands War.
Ooh,
massive
Wonderlands
disappointment
War.
of the year. Shira's not a fan of bag builders, and we thought it would change the script for her. Because
wait, she doesn't like...
she hates drawing from a blind bag. It's something about her anxiety or something. Like, there's something about not being able to see and sort through it that just bugs her.
What, the one where they're in the... I can't think of it. Where they're playing in the pot.
She hates that game. She
Really?
hates Quacks and Quedlinburg.
Quacks and Quedlinburg,
So
really?
Yeah, so Shira's not a fan of bag builders, and the only bag builders she has been a fan of are ones where she can check her resources whenever she wants. She likes knowing exactly what's in
her bag. Okay.
And so, which I think, I understand that to a degree.
Yeah.
But you really shouldn't do that. You really can't do that.
Yeah.
For the fairness of some of these games.
Also true, yeah.
Because it changes how you judge risk and luck and when you push your luck, which is the whole mechanic that I don't think she likes.
Agreed.
Wonderlands War is a glorious game.
It's
and
fabulous.
We thought the combination of bag building with tactical cards and
area
control would match up with her and convince her to like it.
It should be her game.
It did not. And so I don't think we're probably keeping it in the collection long term.
Really?
If Shira doesn't like something and it's such a big, beefy game that requires a group of people to play,
it's fair.
There's a point where I have to look at it and I have to go, like, I don't see 4 or 5 people being over here, her not being involved, and us choosing to play Wonderlands War. It's just not going to get tabled.
Well, when you get rid of it, we'll change out, because I have the retail version, so I would much rather have your version than mine, because mine's not the Kickstarter version.
Nice. That's funny. All right. What else do I have here? I'm scanning through. Oh, okay. This is an interesting one because it's not related to any of this. Jurassic World.
Okay.
The Island of Nublar or whatever. The Legacy game.
Yeah.
I've never played it, for the record.
I've never played it either.
Alex had a prototype copy of it.
Okay.
He played through it.
Yeah.
The reason...
I love Legacy games.
I know. So the reason why it's on my disappointing list is because I really wanted to play it. I'm a fan of Jurassic World.
Yeah.
I liked the art and the weird style they were going. I liked the idea of a more approachable, like Funko-based, legacy game.
Okay.
And then it came in, and the first thing I saw was like 4 or 5 reviewers saying it was horrible. Like Dice Tower gave it like a 3 out of 10.
Really?
Something like that. It might not be that low, but like they ripped it apart. And while I am the type of person to be contrarian to other reviewers and like not quite trust their judgment.
Sure.
I also
when the plethora of people.
Yeah, it took any excitement that I had away from me, and so
and with so much time to play board games.
Yeah, there's other legacy games that I'd rather play through, and so like now I'm looking at it and I'm like I really was excited about this game. But now I'm not gonna ever play it. I'm not gonna ever play it. Which is a shame. It's a shame. Because I would have liked to like it.
Is that still in the basement?
I never got it.
Oh, you never got it?
Never got it.
You
never,
just like...
Yeah.
No.
I would have... It's one of the games that I probably would have like purchased from a convention or something.
I wonder if I can find it really cheap, because my son loves dinosaurs.
It might be literally like $16. I'm not sure.
Nice. Might have to look that one up.
I'd check. I'd see if it's being liquidated. Not by the publisher. The publisher is supporting it. But
sure.
I don't know that the community is.
Fair.
And honestly, the community could be different. People might be loving it.
It's possible. Like that Rotten Tomatoes review, like the reviewers say it's terrible, but Rotten Tomatoes is like, dude, it's great if you have lower expectations.
But I'm not sure that's... I find that board game reviewers, when it's a group of them with varied tastes... Because Alex didn't love it either. He didn't like it as much as them, but he thought it was just okay. Rena stopped playing it with him.
Ooh.
Like, so...
Yeah.
Okay. What are the last 2 I have on here?
Okay.
Okay. Kingdoms Come Forlorn.
Okay.
This one's disappointing because I was disappointed in my own audience.
That's Kingdoms Forlorn, though, right?
Sorry. Not Kingdoms Come Deliverance. Kingdoms Forlorn.
Kingdoms Forlorn.
This one's disappointing because I was disappointed in my own community.
In our community, yeah.
So we put in a lot of work to cover Kingdoms Forlorn. There is an entire vlog We did multiple videos, none of it sponsored, right? We did multiple videos. It was one of my most anticipated games. I did a direct comparison to Kingdom Death. I put in multiple days, full days worth of work to actually get it tabled, to teach it, to play it, to read through the rules. I reached out to the publisher asking asking questions and logistics thing. I put a lot of time and effort into producing the best quality content I could, thorough, accurate, and critical.
Yeah, it was well over 60 hours.
Yeah.
Well over 60 hours of time.
Along with that, I was one of the only, if not one of, definitely the first and one of the only to put out actual gameplay of it. Right? Everyone else was just talking about it.
Right.
And I could have talked about it perfectly fine, but I was like, no, let's try to show it. And it being a prototype, it having a rough rule book, it being a work, there was a lot of things that made it very hard to function on the table, to get 100% accurate and right. But I think we showed off the idea of it well enough. And man, the people were just, they made me question if putting 60 hours into a game like that, a prototype like that, is ever worth it. Because the community was kind of rough.
Yeah.
And did not,
kind of rough is a little off the side.
So that's there. And I thought the game was good, compelling, but not the best. And I do think they're going to deliver on their promise. I think the game's going to be great when it actually shows up. I stand by that. But it wasn't there yet, right? And so it was this weird mix. And I get that I was telling the audience that the thing that they were really excited about might not be as perfect or as magical as they want it to be. But
it is what it is. It's a prototype, and
people say all the time that they want not just glowing, not just positive. They want thorough and critical and
other games,
about
not
anything other than the
want.
thing that they're excited about.
Yeah, dude. Heaven forbid.
Yeah.
Mess with the box.
Kingdoms Forlorn is here for me because I was disappointed in you. And the last one.
Yeah.
Is, and I thought about this one for a while.
Okay.
And I've come to terms with it. I think it deserves to be here. Root. The expansions came in this year.
Yeah.
I should have, and I did. I was very excited. I've opened them up. I've played through them multiple times.
Yeah.
But now, as we're getting into the age of the life cycle of Root, right? They're not just new anymore. Now they're characters anyone could choose. I don't really ever find myself wanting to choose to play either of the two new factions.
Really?
Yeah, the rats are really cool.
Yeah,
but they're just straight warmongers, right? They're leading a horde of people across the valley.
Yep.
And then you have the badgers, which have one of my least favorite interactive mechanics on the board. They want to occupy space and they want to pick up tokens from the middle of areas that they control. So they're like a moving triangle trying to secure locations.
Sure.
And I would rather play the vagabond than the rats, and I would rather play almost anything than the badgers. The badgers are they're right down there with the lizards for me. The lizards are hard for me because they really don't move much. They're very frustrating to play. I feel like the expansion that came in this year was not Root's strongest showing.
I'd have to check the Book of Laws, but wasn't part of the reason why they made those extra characters to be more open, so it's easier to table them instead of other ones, so that the combinations are better? So
there's a few things. They did make those characters in a way that tried to give you more variety or more point mixing. Right? You're right about that. Those are big coin faction powers.
Right.
They compete with the Eerie or the Marquis de Cat, but I would rather still, to this day, play the Eerie or play the Marquis de Cat than either of those other large factions.
For sure.
Right?
For sure.
But then on top of that, they also put in the extra solo modes, the extra modules, the little automatons, and they put in the extra little partisans of Root. And I do play with the partisans. I play with the little extra abilities and meeples. I think those are fun. But that's it.
Yeah.
I should be more ecstatic. This should have heightened my love for the game.
And it didn't.
And it hasn't. It's cool. It's cool, but it's maybe not everything that I would have hoped it could have been.
That's fair.
So
it's very fair.
there's my list. Those are my disappointments throughout the year. There's ranging from some highs to some lows to some it's a disappointment because it's from my perspective.
Wait, we haven't talked about my highs and lows.
Do you have one?
Yeah, I have a couple.
You have a couple?
I have a couple.
You've added in a couple.
I've got a couple.
Wow.
So my first high and low disappointment here is going to be that game that starts with an F and ends with an Frosthaven.
It's just because you're never going to be able to play it.
Because someone in this room had to get filming done because, again, my dad died, and I needed to leave and go deal with that. So you played it.
You're the one that took off for an entire week.
That's just true. It's true. And then I had to go, because I had things I had to do. You had to table it to get it played and do all these things.
I had a great time.
And then, unbeknownst to me, mind you, the scheduler of things, when we had kind of talked about what we were doing, you put up a video and said, hey, what should we do? Should we do Frosthaven or should we do ISS Vanguard?
I posted that video.
Yeah, and then our community, so this is actually a double.
Unanimously.
Really. Our community unanimously said, yeah, Frosthaven's great, but ISS Vanguard, that's where we have to go. And now, but don't get me wrong, I'm super excited to play ISS Vanguard. Ridiculously excited.
Yeah.
Okay? But what I'm very frustrated with is that I know for a fact there's no way I am playing Frosthaven ever. It'll be years down the road before it'll be like, hey, won't it be fun to play that old classic Frosthaven? That's when I'll get to play Frosthaven.
Yeah, because
there's just
when you're up
no
here,
way.
When you're up here working with me,
yeah,
we cannot
we
justify
don't have time to play that kind of stuff
beyond where we are. We can justify ISS Vanguard.
Yeah, because we're actually doing it for content coverage.
Yeah, because we're going to be filming it. Yep. It's going to be a sponsored video by Bandpass Design, who sent us this amazing table.
Beautiful table.
And so that's here. I'll have a Quackalope coming out about one of my many disappointments.
Yes.
The Trove Chest.
And I have one more disappointment. In filming some things in preparation for today, I found out that I have a game in my collection that isn't a life cycle game. And those of you who don't know, a life cycle game is a game that you get and you just love it because it represents a moment in time, like it's the first game you ever backed on Kickstarter, or it was like the first big campaign, or
it could be a future moment as well.
It could be, yeah. I want to play this so badly.
This summer, during my summer vacation, I'm going to get a group together down in the Andes Mountains, and we're going to play through all of Frosthaven.
And it's going to be amazing.
Yeah. That's a life cycle game.
Yeah.
A lifestyle game.
Yeah. Is a game that you give yourself excuses for. Okay? It's a game where you say, I need all of this.
Yeah.
And I want all of this. And I don't care about anything else. I'm just gonna get it.
The cost doesn't matter.
The cost doesn't matter.
The space doesn't matter.
No, it's this is my thing.
Yeah.
It's my thing and I just love it. And
it's irreverent, it's irrational.
Yeah, and you just love it, okay? I didn't realize I had one.
Mine, for instance, is Kingdom Death Monster.
Obviously.
I was at one point the largest collector of Kingdom Death Monster. I still have a ton of the artworks and prints. I still have a wooden custom box with every single base model bronzed. I went head over heels on
literally
this game. And
all of them bronzed.
It's my Grail game. It's my Zero game, right?
Yeah.
So Kingdom Death, openly, fully admitted KDM.
Totally makes sense.
Yeah.
It's his favorite game of all time. Okay? I realized I had a lifestyle game, and it's not my favorite game of all time. How? How does that happen? How does a game that isn't your favorite game of all time, it's not the game that you go to on a regular basis because you really just want to play something fun. It's not that game, but that is your lifestyle game where it bothers you, physically almost makes you ill when someone messes with it and does things incorrectly. And it irks you to the soul to have someone just touch it in a weird way. And you're like, no, you're not supposed to do it that way. You have to play it this way. And I despise that I am not in control of my lifestyle game. That I can't just choose to pick one. This is my lifestyle game because I love this game. And don't get me wrong, I love this game, but it's not my favorite game of all time. It's not the thing that I want to go to and play all the time.
It is, or you're just not going to mention it?
It's Too Many Bones. I love Too Many Bones. It's a great game. It is a wonderful game. I've played it a bunch. I've played through almost all the content. I have almost every single thing you could possibly have.
Hey, you know what I should give you? I have downstairs I have to ask Sheer if I have permission to actually give you this.
I'm sure you don't.
You know what I'm talking about, though.
Yeah, you're the child.
No. I have a shadow box that was a gift from Chip Theory Games.
Oh, yes, the Undertow one?
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful, yeah.
Sheer won't give it to you.
She will not give it to me.
I'll ask her.
That's okay. And I appreciate it, because that would be really awesome to have that. But anyway, I'm not in control of that. I didn't realize I wasn't in control of that, because that's my lifestyle game. Yeah. I know you're not going to give me the child, because you just want to hold it over my head that that's like the one thing that you have that I don't have. It's really irritating.
That and...
Stop it. A dad? Is that where you're going to go?
No. What? No. That's not where I was going to go.
Sorry.
Holy cow.
If I don't get to make fun and tell jokes, it is what it is. It's part of my healing process.
For the record, anyone that's not okay with someone laughing at their own grief, screw off.
Right.
Everyone gets to grief in their own way.
Exactly.
That is their right.
But yeah, I can't. I'm so angry that is my lifestyle game because I don't want it to be. Not that I don't love the game. I wanted to be in control of that.
Yeah.
And it like snuck up on me.
It's very funny. It's very funny.
Yeah.
Hey,
it might be funny.
Let us know what your disappointments are, other than watching this video, and we'll see you next time. Whatever the case, whatever you do, remember to do the important thing.
Get out and find your own lifestyle game.
I cut earlier.
Did you?
Yeah.
All right, it's probably good.
There's literally no ending to this.
No ending. It's just gonna.
You always complain that I never get to the ending tagline because you're waiting for it.
Right.
So now I'm just
not gonna never do it.
Well, I do it, and then I'll actually remove it from the edit. You're not even sure that the effort you put in, waiting and preparing for the tagline, is going to pay off.
You did like run real fast to the ending.
I did.
Yeah. I was like, wait, I usually get to say part of it.
I stumbled right there. I got it.
You just went and sorry, done. We'll cut it. It's fine.
Whatever the case, whatever you do, remember to do the important thing. Get out and play some games. We'll see you next time.
I thought we were already done.
Thank you.